Hey guys, well guess what? A good friend of mine, SGT Piggy, finally released this fan film, Ultimate Spider-Man. So I thought I would do a review on it. But I have a friend here who is also eager to give his thoughts on it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome SpideyFan51. SpideyFan51 here. I thought SGT Piggy's fan film, the Ultimate Spider-Man, was really original, but not as original as my fan film, The Spectacular Spider-Man. Really? Because I don't know if it's just me, but I watched the trailer for that fan film, and well, the Oscorp website just happens to be the same Oscorp website in Spider-Man: The Lost Cause. Oh, and you do sometimes rip off Mega Spider-Man Freak every once in a while. I'm just saying, you know? In that scene where you say, I must become someone else, I must become something else, it's kind of a rip-off of Arrow, you know? And, you know, your YouTube channel is littered with Arrow episode reviews. So I gotta go do a hammock. So I'm busy. So bye. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I'll have to do this review on my own. Hey, I don't know if it's just me, but SpideyFan51 kind of sounds like a 12-year-old. Up, guys, so I'm going to give my thoughts on this fan film. I'm going to be talking about the pros and the cons, and when I say cons, I don't mean I want to hate, because it's a pretty good fan film, but I just mean like constructive criticism. But let's start with the good, with the pros. So, the first pro is Harry Osborn. You could really tell that the guy playing Harry Osborn really cared about the role, because, first of all, SGT Piggy didn't come to him and say, well, hey, you want to be in my fan film? No, it was actually the other way around. This guy actually came to SGT Piggy and said, hey, can I be in your fan film? So, according to a lot of SGT Piggy's videos, he really, apparently the guy playing Harry really wants to be an actor. And my God, he did freaking incredible. I mean, I think he's gonna go far eventually in life. And if his performances are as good as they are in this, my God, he really is gonna go far, because acting, oh my God, just brilliant. The acting was just, oh my God, I can't express how great it was. I mean, it felt realistic. It felt so realistic, but yet so insane at the same time. Like, he could go from being angry as crap to laughing like the Joker. So I thought that they really did well with that. But speaking of the acting, that leads me on to my next point. Pro number 2, the acting. Oh my God, the acting was just brilliant. It was just freaking brilliant. It got to a point where I almost forgot it was acting, because it just felt so real. Just so freaking real, and I forgot it was acting at points, and that's impressive. I mean, especially for something that's just a fan film, that is quite impressive, and that might be my greatest pro. But my next pro, Uncle Ben. Now, I actually watched the original version, but what happened in the original version, for those who don't know, is, SGT Piggy had to delete it. Well, the plot was pretty much the same. Everything was pretty much the same, except for one tiny glitch. SGT Piggy accidentally repeated a scene, and I actually watched that version of it before it was deleted, and that scene actually that scene was actually Uncle Ben's death. It's where the death was very much like the one in the Amazing Spider-Man. What happens is what's his name? Peter goes into a store, what looks like a vintage comic store. He asks the guy at the desk, oh, hey, I think I left my bag in here, could you help? And then he's like, sorry, not my problem. And then Peter's like, okay. and then this one guy comes in, takes the the comic, the $200 thing. He says, "Hey, you mind helping? Not my problem." And then it's just like, and then he goes outside and Uncle Ben dies. Now, I originally thought, when I saw that repeated, I thought it was on purpose. What I thought it was I thought SGT Piggy had done it twice to try and show basically how tormented Peter Parker was by Uncle Ben's death. But apparently it was a glitch. But what really was heart-wrenching was the scene where Uncle Ben is on the couch with Peter. Oh my god! Oh my god! But yeah, that was just brilliant. I will say, even though I thought the one thing was on purpose, repeating the scene, I will say it did remind me of a meme I saw on Instagram where Uncle Ben is on the ground, dead, and he says, "How many times do I have to die?" Next, we are going to get into the cons. Con number 1, too much baggage was carried from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I did like the fan film. I will say there was times when I thought, didn't I already see that in The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Like, for instance, the scene where Harry finds the goblin armor and puts it on, it's pretty much the exact same scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he finds the goblin armor and puts it on. And, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 ends with that cliffhanger where Spider-Man and Rhino are about to fight, and then all of a sudden when they're going at each other, the screen goes black. Well, kind of something like that happened at the end. It has Spider-Man going up against Shocker, and they're just about to go at each other, and all of a sudden the movie goes black at the end. Like that's it. And my friend and I actually watched Spider-Man Unleashed, a pretty terrible fan film. And last night, and I actually watched it with the guy who was playing Shocker in my fan film. And at the very end, and then we watched Ultimate Spider-Man in this fan film, which is actually good. But then my friend pointed out at the very end, when Shocker and Spider-Man went at each other and went black, he's just like, why do all the Spider-Man movies do this? Because The Amazing Spider-Man 1 ended with Spider-Man and Rhino. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm sorry, ended with Spider-Man and Rhino doing that. Spider-Man Unleashed ended with Spider-Man and Lizard doing that. And now this ends with Spider-Man and Shocker doing that. So yeah, con number 2, the Shocker. I really thought that Herman Schultz could have been better developed. And I also thought he was a little bit shoehorned. Although I did like how Harry said to the Shocker, "Oh, well, I don't want his blood on my hands." It kind of showed that he hated Peter, but he still kind of had feelings for Peter, which is what I liked about it. But, yeah, Shocker I still think was kind of shoehorned, didn't really have much of a personality. But, hopefully, in the sequel, they will develop him better. And finally, con number 3, it was just too predictable. Well, not really predictable. I mean, it's not like I knew, oh yeah, I bet that's gonna happen, and then it happened. But I mean, nothing really surprised me. I mean, it wasn't like, oh! I mean, I was a little bit surprised when Harry died, but then I remembered, oh yeah, isn't he making, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Spectacular Spider-Man making a Green Goblin fan film? I thought he announced that on his Instagram. Maybe I'm wrong. But, yeah, so I didn't like that. Well, that's my review. I'm going to give Ultimate Spider-Man a 7.5 out of 10. Now, I can't wait for the next one. By the way, I finished the script for the Spider-Man. It's very dark and gritty. And I don't think you're going to expect what is coming. But, yeah, so long. I'm out.